Welcome back, guys. This is Inside FPL on the Locker Room Vibes. So, in this video, we'll be giving you some tips, some analysis heading into Game Week 18 for your Fantasy Premier League team. As an FPL manager, I'm sure you are really wondering what to do heading into Game Week 18. But not to worry, in this video, we have everything covered. Some tips to consider, and of course, captaincy choice, who the best captaincy option would be heading into Game Week 18 for you. So let's see how the fixtures are looking. Okay, so before we do get into it, I would like you to kindly subscribe, like, leave a comment. Let's know how you also plan on setting up your team for Game Week 18. All right, so let's get into it. Thank you. And let's look at the fixtures heading into Game Week 18. Very important. We know how the fixtures are looking heading into the game week. So it starts on Friday the 26th. We have Manchester United. They take on Newcastle. So then on Saturday we have Nottingham Forest taking on City. We have Arsenal taking on Brighton Hove Albion. We have Brentford v Bournemouth, Burnley v Everton, Liverpool, Wolves, West Ham, Fulham, Chelsea, they take on Aston Villa. Then on Sunday, we have Sunderland, Leeds, Crystal Palace, and it ends with Crystal Palace. They take on Tottenham Hotspurs. So that's how the fixtures are looking heading into Game Week 18. And I think some good match. You could have a good fixture in the Nottingham, the Newcastle, Manchester United match, because this is a Man U team that just lost one of their key players, Bruno. Newcastle have lost some few points along the line, so they want to really come back hard. So you could easily consider a Newcastle. You have City, they take on Nottingham Forest. City are in very good form, so you could easily consider a City team. Arsenal take on Brighton at home. Arsenal are going to really want to go all out. They want to grab the 3 points. There's not a time for them to lose pace, as everyone says that in the second half they struggle. So they want to really keep on the pace and then get what they need. So you could really consider some Arsenal players heading into the game week. Then Bournemouth, Brentford. So you could have a Semenyo from Bournemouth. You could have and if you want a differential defender, you could have a Senise who is low price and could easily help. Everton, Burnley, I'm not really. Then you have Liverpool, Wolves. So Liverpool at home, Liverpool are beginning to find their feet. So Liverpool against this Wolves team that are still putting things together. It could be a good match for them just to go all out and grab the 3 points and keep the vim and the fire burning. So you could most definitely go for some Liverpool players in there. And Fulham on the road have been very good. Whenever they go away, they go all out. So you could most definitely consider some Fulham players who are going to take on a West Ham team that a little bit depleted in certain areas because of the AFCON. Then I think you should be good to go, as the other matches I feel are going to be a little bit dicey. So that's how the fixtures are looking. So in my previous video, we spoke about the FDL and how to set up your team. Of course, you don't need to go into every team focusing on transfers for just that team. So you'd want to do your transfers that can cover at least 2 or 3 game weeks. That way you conserve your transfers. If you have to do a transfer, it's just going to be the 1 or 2, rather than having to do so many each game week and lose so many points. So you'd want to consider that, and FDR will be the best place. We've spoken about that already, so you could just go there. So players start. So players in form, you have Phil Foden leading the charts. So Foden is in good form. You have Rodgers, you have Haaland, you have Bruno. Rather unfortunately, Bruno picked up an injury, so that is going to be a big blow for most managers. You have Calvin Lewin, who scored in his last, I think, 3 or 4 games. So he looks like a very good option in there. But they take on their fellow team that they got promoted with. So those matches don't really tend to be entertaining, but it could go either way. You have Wilson too, who is been in good form so far. He go to picking up some good points along the line. So these are the players in form. When it comes to the most selected, I always say if you are not too sure, just go with what most the numbers are going with, because if the numbers are going for one player, then that means something is right there. So then most managers have Haaland, which is could be a plus for you. They have Semenyo, which could be a plus. You have Foden, which is a plus. So if you are not really sure, you could have a Haaland, you could have Semenyo, you could have Foden. Raya as a keeper would be a plus to you as well. You could have a Timber for your defense. You could have a Van de Ven for your defense. Higo for a strike. Virgil for your defense, and you'll be good to go. Wilson for your midfield. Woltemade for your strike. Senise for a differential defender. Rogers for a midfield, and this could easily set up your first 11 team, and you'd be good to go. So you'd also want to look at, so if you want to go very critical, you look at how these players they influence matches, their creativity rates and the threat. So the most important, I for one would want to consider the influence they have on the matches, so that you would want to consider that if you are looking at you are looking at strikers, because the influence they have is very important. If he has so much influence, then he's most likely to be in around a goal. So is there either an assist or a goal? If you also look at threat, that is very important for strikers. So if you look at threat, you could easily get some players in good form. So most selected and players in good form, you just look at the threat and see how well these players could easily give you points. Influence, you could have players, defenders who are also going to claim clean sheets, as these players are targeted or are meant to be the bone or the backbone of the defense. So you'd want to also consider that if you are looking for a good player for your defense, then you should be good to go. So that is how. Then you'll also look at transferred in, what most managers are doing, who are they bringing in, and it gives you an informed decision. So it helps you make an informed decision. So you look at the players most managers are bringing in. He go leading the charts. You have Rogers as well. So this for game week 17. This for, so you could, as you wait a while, you go through, so some few days, I think 48 hours to 24 hours, you should get a very solid start of how things are looking. It's quite early because this video was made very early, but you could wait 24 hours or some few hours to the game week, and you have a clear picture of the kind of players most managers are bringing in and the kind of players most managers are taking out. Anytime you get your stats, but if you want it to be very clear, you could wait 24 to 12 to 24 hours, and you have a clearer picture of how most managers are going to really set up their team, and that is how it should be looking. So you go to the team review. So this is how I'm looking. This is my team for game week 18. So I have my constants in there. The only changes, I've brought back Woltemade. I sold him for game week 17, and he ended up scoring 2 goals and provided big massive returns. I've brought him back because after the Manchester United match, they have a few good, Newcastle have a few good fixtures in there, and I'm hoping he provides a return. I wouldn't want to bring him late. I've brought him back early. I've taken Mateta out, so Woltemade is back. And apart from that, I don't have any other transfer. This is my team from game week 17. No change. Neither, even with the captaincy, there's no change. I'm still giving the captaincy to Foden. So of course you have Haaland in good form, so you could easily consider a Haaland for your team, and you should be good to go. Higo would be a good option, as Liverpool are playing at home against a Wolves side that are still trying to find their feet. So Higo or Isak would be very good options for captaincy. So my three top captaincy choices will be Higo, Isak, and Isak, then Haaland. These are my top 3 choices. And differentials, you could easily go in for a Foden or Wilson. and you should be good to go. So that's how my team is looking heading into game week 18. We hope for greens. Stay connected, stay safe. We wish you um, we wish you the best during this holidays. Happy holidays, everyone. Stay safe.